Hey everyone, welcome back to second episode Lighting with Luke. Today, in our last episode, we really went through the basics of programming a song and how to add in all of your different cues into your cue list, and then how to add them into your virtual fader wing over here. I spent a lot of time in the program tab and then down here in the attributes tab. Today, I want to go across to the fourth tab along here, which is called the Dynamics tab. And that's really looking at your color chases and your intensity chases within your cue list. So we'll get into that. So if you remember, I'll go back across to our attributes tab. I'll click on a light over here and you can see that we've got our intensities, and then you can choose down here either in your color wheel or up in your panel what color you want. So let's just make it purple, and we'll put the intensity at 100%. Then we'll come across here to our Dynamics tab and we'll click New. So we've got two different channel sets here for this particular light, intensity and RGB. In RGB is your color. We'll start off with intensity. That's a fairly self-explanatory one. So when you click into your intensity dynamics, what you're looking at here is amplitude, offset, center, top and bottom. With amplitude, that's really looking at the intensity of the effect that you're looking to put in. I typically just always have this at 100%. Offset we'll get to in a little bit. And then in here, we've got where, so I'll just jump back up to here in our wave shape. This center, top and bottom is looking at where our wave shape is starting, where's the center point in our wave shape, and then where's the end point in our wave shape. Typically, if you want this to be just a nice, gentle wave shape, you would go 50% for your center. So that means that as the light progresses through this intensity waveform, at the 50% mark, at the halfway point, the light will have 50% intensity. Then you can go top as 100%. And what that will do is it'll mean that right here at the start of the wave shape, the light will be at 100%. Right here at the top of the waveform, the light will be at 100%, and then bottom 0%. So right here, that means that at the bottom of the wave shape, the light will be at 0%. So you can see that that's represented down here in the dimmer. You can see that the light just follows a nice easy path. So what's happening there is the light starts at 50, moves up to the top, goes to 100%, comes down to 50, goes down to 0%, comes back up to 50. And you can see that that's represented here with the light just going up and down. And that's the basic of doing an intensity dynamic within a cue. There's a couple of different wave shapes that you can choose. So this is just a sine wave, nice and gentle, good for a worship song. Go triangle, which is a little bit more harsh. So you can, what this does is really, instead of rounding off at the top, it's a bit more of a sharp change in intensity. Square, as you can see, it's a very quick change. So your dynamic is just jumping up and down. No sort of nice transition in there. Good for a really high pace praise song. Ramp up is an interesting one. So you can see here with the dimmer, ramps up intensity very quickly and then drops back down to 0%. That's kind of good for if you're looking for, like a twinkly sort of light where it sort of shines a little bit brightly and then snaps off. I don't use it too often. Same with ramp down. That's more of like a twinkly sort of looking light. You can see that it's just the opposite. It snaps up to 100% and then slowly dims down to 0. And then you've just got different variations of all of the different waveforms in here. The random slow, medium, fast is an interesting one. You can see in here that it's a pretty crazy looking wave shape, and that's good for, I guess, a little bit of randomness within your lights. I think I've only ever used random slow because the random medium and the random fast is just not good for a church setting. I'm going to go back to the sine wave here, and the other option that you can do in here is your phase shift. What that is doing is shifting where your top and your bottom is within your waveform. So you can shift that by 25%, and if you just think about it, it's just all moved across. So now it starts at the top and ends at the top, and in the middle is the bottom. And you can just continue to do that, and you can see sort of it's a wave shape that goes through there. Duty factor is how long that wave shape is going to be lasting for. So if you go 2 in here, oh, sorry. So if you go 2 in here, what you can see is that the wave shape goes through its full motion for only half of the time, and then the other half of the time it's just remaining flat at 50%. I use that sometimes, particularly if you're looking to put a fast change in your cue in, but then you want half of your cue to remain flat. But I only really use it every now and again. Better, in my opinion, better to stick with a duty factor of 1, phase shift of 0%, and then depending on whether you're doing a praise song or a worship song, you can change your rate in here, your BPMs. Typically for a worship song, I go for 15 BPMs, and then you can just hit this ×2 button in here, and that will make it into a praise song of 30 BPMs. And obviously you have your FX rate over here as well, which you can choose the rate speed over there as well. So that is intensity in a nutshell. What I do want to show you is, I'll clear all of that. And what I want to show you is if you have multiple lights that you're going to be looking at. So I'm going to select all of the lights along the back here. And then I'm going to bring them up to, so in my attributes tab over here, bring the intensity up to 100%. Jump across to the dynamics, click a new intensity dynamic. And then if I scroll down here, you can see I've got all of my 4 devices, light 1, light 2, light 3, light 4. I'm going to bring my amplitude up to 100%. I'm going to put my center down to 50, my top at 100, and then I'm going to grab my offset here and bring that to 0.5 at the halfway mark. Now at the moment you can see all of the lights are going at the same time. Offset simply just means light 1 will be starting delayed or before light 2 delayed or before light 3, and light 4 delayed or before light 4. So the easiest way to do this is hit Control on your keyboard, and you see 3 little dots have appeared here, and you can grab that top dot and drag that across, and you can see that your lights now have a different offset for light 1, light 2, light 3, and light 4. So that means they'll be starting their waveform at different times within the cue. And you can see that that's represented down here with your 4 lights all going at a different time. And up here you can see that you can sort of see the waveform throughout the 4 lights. So 100%, 100%, and then it just keeps going like that. That's a really good way of doing a chase throughout your cue. Now, if you hit control, you can do control on all of your different attributes that you have in here, and it's just a good way of offsetting all of the different lights that you're putting in. If you grab, I'm just going to actually put that back to 50, show you some of the other things that you can do. So if you grab the middle one, you can change the offset like that as well. So that's kind of good for, you can see in here, they're buddied up now. We've got these two lights that are working together, and then light 1 and 4 that are working together because of the offset that is in here. What you can do is, if you're looking for a random look, you can select down here, grouping your lights by a random order. We've got the back rig 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but if I select random, now it's just put it as 3, 4, 2, 1, which means that if I bring up my offset and change that to here, instead of it being a nice waveform across the lights, it's now a random selection. And that is pretty much intensity. The other thing that I wanted to show you is your buddying in here as well. So if we click 2, so we'll go up to 2, and we bring this offset across as well, hit control, you can see that now we've just got the 2 sets as the lights have buddied up. So light 3 and 4 are working together, and lights 2 and 1 are working together. You can also change your ordering by name. So if we want that back to go 1, 2, 3, 4, we can change that to go by name, and it will alphabetically or numerically order those. And that's about it. I think that's everything for the intensity dynamic. And I might leave it there for today, and then go through the color dynamic in a next episode. Thanks.